What would you do if you were 20 feet up in a tree and suddenly realized you weren't the only one hunting? I grew up in a small town in northern Pennsylvania called Wellsboro, where hunting wasn't just a hobby. It was a tradition. Schools would even close on the first day of rifle season because half the town would be out in the woods. I started hunting when I was 12, and by the time I was 23, I was going out alone regularly, and that's when this happened. It was late archery season in November 2021. There was a light dusting of snow on the ground, which made it perfect for tracking movement. I had permission to hunt on a 70-acre private property. Thick woods, an old logging trail, and deep inside, an abandoned hunting cabin that nobody used anymore. I had been there a few times before and never saw another person. That morning, I got there around 5:15 a.m. It was pitch black and completely silent. But even before I reached my stand, I had this strange feeling, like I was being watched. I climbed into my tree stand about 20 feet up and waited for sunrise. About an hour later, I noticed something that didn't make sense. Around 60 yards out, there was another tree stand. I froze. I knew for a fact it hadn't been there before. It looked old and weathered, like it had been sitting somewhere for years. In the snow, there was only one set of footprints leading straight to it, no tracks leading away. Around 8 a.m. I saw movement near that stand. At first, I thought it was a deer. It wasn't. It was a man standing behind a tree, wearing a dirty grey hoodie, no camo, no hunting gear, just standing there, looking directly at me. Then slowly, he raised his hand and waved. It wasn't friendly, more like he was letting me know he saw me. I hesitated, then gave a small wave back. After a moment, he stepped behind the tree and disappeared completely. Around 10, I climbed down to check. When I reached the tree, the snow was untouched. No footprints, no track leading away, just that same single trail leading to the stand. I followed it. It stopped right at the base. I looked up. The stand was empty. The seat still had a thin layer of snow on it, completely undisturbed. That's when I felt it. Something was seriously wrong. On my way back, I noticed something tied to a branch, a strip of orange hunting vest, then another and another. They were placed at different heights, like markers, like someone had been mapping something out. I should have left right then, but I didn't. Around sunset, I heard footsteps behind me, heavy, too spaced out to be an animal. I turned. About 30 yards away, he was back. I could see his face, patchy beard, and a smile that didn't feel right, just barely showing his teeth. In his hand was a screwdriver. He didn't say a word, just stared at me, then slowly turned and walked back into the trees. That's when I finally decided to leave. But halfway to my truck, I saw something that made my blood run cold. My backpack, the one I had left in my tree stand, was lying on the ground, zipped open. Everything inside was laid out neatly in the snow. My knife, my flashlight, my arrows, arranged like someone had gone through it while I was still out there. I grabbed my stuff and ran. When I reached my truck, the driver's door was open. I know I had locked it. My registration papers were sitting on the passenger seat. I got in, locked the doors, and started the engine. Then I looked in the mirror. At the edge of the woods, he was standing there, watching me, smiling. He raised his hand, pointed at me, and slowly dragged his finger across his throat. I never went back. A few weeks later, they found a makeshift shelter deep in those woods, filled with stolen hunting gear and animal remains. I don't hunt alone anymore, because sometimes you're not the only one out there.